to talk about the distinction between time-restricted eating and intermittent fasting, because they are actually two different things. So I'm going to start with that. And then I'm going to talk about what happens at different durations. And I think that's very useful / interesting, eye-opening for many to recognize like how much and what happens the longer we go without food deliberately at times. And then I want to talk about how to make this easy and sustainable, meaning how to make fasting feel very easy to the degree that you feel like you can actually do it with regularity, which means that you get to have all of these benefits that come along with it. Right? So I think a lot of us have an awareness that fasting is good for weight loss. Fasting is good for a million things. It is absolutely good for weight loss. One thing I say to my fat burners at times is, if you want to lose weight, don't eat, which sounds like a asshole-ish thing to say, but the deal is they have gone through a mitochondrial reconstruction. Their bodies are equipped to not eat. We don't start that way, but we get there. Anyway, so that's what I help people do, which makes fasting really easy, which has so many benefits, which we'll talk about, all right? So at any rate, the key reason I wanted to talk about this was the distinction between time-restricted eating and intermittent fasting, which sounds not sexy and maybe not that interesting. But the main thing that I want to talk about is that time-restricted eating is essentially only eating for a certain number of hours between a certain window. Often when I start with people, they will ask me, when should I be eating? And the thing that's different about, I'm going to say what we do and how that lends itself to intermittent fasting versus just time-restricted eating, is we listen to our bodies versus arbitrarily conforming to a clock. There are still benefits for sure for time-restricted eating. There are just more for intermittent fasting. And intermittent fasting is really the ability to do many durations, any duration. You eat twice a day, you eat once a day, you fast for 36 to 48 hours, you eat 3 times one day, you eat at 9 in the morning one day, you eat at 4 in the morning another day. It's flexible, and you have more access to more benefits. Okay, it's a more advanced way to do this, and it's really awesome. Okay, so I hope this is like so interesting. I hope everybody listens to it. I hope everyone wants to. So we're gonna talk about the differences between time-restricted eating and intermittent fasting. All right, time-restricted eating is just being focused on the clock, which a lot of people do. Intermittent fasting is the ability to do it differently every day, many days, because you want to / because you have different goals depending on what's going on. All right, so here we go. So the definition, time-restricted eating is eating all meals within a certain daily window, 8-hour window, 16-hour fast. Intermittent fasting is periodic fasting patterns that may include full day fasts or longer stretches without food. The primary goal for time-restricted eating often is around hormone regulation and our circadian rhythms. So getting into a better sleep pattern and improved insulin sensitivity. That is beneficial. The primary goal for intermittent fasting, which is what we do, is a deep metabolic reset, enhanced fat oxidation, autophagy, which we'll talk about a little later, and cellular repair. It just does more shit. Time-restricted eating is usually 14 to 18 hours daily. So you're eating within the hours on the other side of that. So maybe that's, what's 8 and 24? 6 or 8. Intermittent fasting is often 28. It's flexible, often 24 to 48 hours or more. And that's what a lot of us do in Fat Burning Pro. I eat once a day. And I actually fasted yesterday, which meant that I ate, I think I fasted for 42 hours easily, comfortably. And we'll even talk about what that equates to in a little bit, should you be curious. The metabolic state achieved with time-restricted eating, regular fat adaptation and insulin control, but not full ketosis each day. For intermittent fasting, full ketosis in autophagy, body runs almost entirely on fat and ketones. Yay, thank you. The fat loss impact, time-restricted eating, steady body composition improvement from daily fat burning periods. Amazing. Intermittent fasting, rapid visceral fat mobilization. We can talk about that more. And hormone optimization, specifically human growth hormone, insulin, and cortisol. The longevity and cellular repair element, time-restricted eating, that's the like I do 6, 18, whatever. Mild to moderate activation through consistent fasting rhythm. So mild, moderate activation of cellular repair through consistent fasting rhythm. Yay. Intermittent fasting, what we do, once again, strong activation of autophagy, AMPK, which I don't actually know what that means, in serotins, longevity genes. Hormonal benefits, time-restricted eating improves leptin sensitivity and insulin rhythm for appetite and energy balance. Amazing. Intermittent fasting, big spikes in growth hormone and BDNF. That's brain-derived neurotropic factor, which supports brain health. Ease and sustainability, time-restricted eating, easier to maintain long-term, an excellent starting point. Intermittent fasting, more challenging, not how we do it, best once metabolically flexible and fat adapted. So you need to get to this. This is what we do with our mitochondrial reconstruction. Time-restricted eating is best for everyday metabolic health, yay, energy balance, and sustainable rhythm, great. Intermittent fasting is best for breaking plateaus, deep healing, and advanced fat loss. So when people talk about, so the best type of fasting for fat loss is intermittent fasting, which is a little bit of a skill. Like you have to kind of get conditioned to do that. But doing time-restricted eating can help get you there. Also, if you would like an approach to get you there clearly and quickly and to know how to navigate it, that's what we do in Fat Burning Pro. Okay? Should you wish to know more about that, please check out the sugar quiz that's in the link underneath this and or be in touch. Okay? So now I wanted to talk about some of the things that happen at longer durations. So I was talking with a fat burner today who is also a booster. We're going to do our second half of our boost starting on Sunday. So this is where we learn how to do longer fasts because they are all capable now of doing, they are able to do intermittent fasting, longer fasts with regularity to have all these benefits they just listed. And now we're going to talk about even more shit. All right. And so she was just saying, she's like, I would love to know all of the stuff that happens at different durations because it's motivating, because it's good to know, like, oh, like what I do matters. You know what I mean? Like food is always delicious. And when you do longer fasts, hunger will come and then it will go. And so when you know that, and you also have tools that you can use, we do this, and you know the benefit of hanging in there a little longer, it just makes it easier to do. All right? So benefits of fasting and why it is, honestly, it is such a smart element to have in your weight loss and health approach. Like, it is how we are made to run. This is natural. It is for survival purposes, and it is absolutely for health. I shared a video the other day about why fasting by this particular cardiovascular surgeon who talked about, who's like on it. I feel like he is speaking my language, the language of fat burning for sure. But anyway, he talked to this point of that calorie deprivation for weight loss is radically different than using an element of fasting for weight loss. The body switches into a different mode where we preserve muscle, our human growth hormone levels stay high, we have access to energy. We often have more energy than if we're eating food, which is crazy because there is more energy in a molecule of fat than there is of glucose. And certainly when we break our own fat down with ketones, that is like high octane energy. But anyway, it's like the best of all worlds. So the thing that I just want to emphasize is that this is working smarter and not harder. This makes weight loss so much easier while improving our health. It is a one-stop shop approach. It's smart. So learn more about this. That's my encouragement. Entertain what you can do. Start to do what you can do. And if you have a desire for something that's, again, a little more, I'm going to say skillful, higher octane, a little more deeply established, please consider Fat Burning Pro. Okay, so here we go. So when you get into these longer hours, it's always better. Like, you just have more shit happen. So when you get to the hour, the 12 and 14 hour mark, what ends up happening, this is like a good threshold. This is when we're really starting to like get through our glycogen stores because insulin is so low. When you have insulin in your body, you are not burning fat. So this is where fat burning begins at hour 12 to 14. This basically, because your insulin levels are so low, it's telling the body to stop storing fat and to start burning it. Great. Basically, because the glycogen, the stored sugar in the liver, starts to decrease, it shifts the body towards using fat for fuel. Great. This also comes along with mental clarity and lighter digestion. Hour 14 to 16, this is when ketone production starts. So again, the glycogen in the liver decreases and the liver starts to produce ketones. Growth hormone starts to rise, helping the presence of, helping preserve muscles while mobilizing stored fat. Hunger hormones like ghrelin can spike temporarily, but then settle. And that's one thing that I think is really useful to know with fasting. Like, hunger will come and go. If you really need to eat, your body will let you know. But when you're situated to be able to use your fat, when you're able to do intermittent fasting, not just time-restricted eating, you're just capable. Your body just adjusts and gets comfortable again and gets to business using your fat for fuel. Hours 16 to 18, the body becomes more metabolically flexible, which means it's able to switch between glucose and fat easily. As a rule now, when you are in these, when you're both set up and then you're in these time durations, fat oxidation, which is fat burning, increases noticeably in this time range, 16 to 18 hours. Many people experience steady energy, increased focus, and reduced cravings. Awesome, amazing. We keep going. Hour 18 to 24. This is the more heavy duty stuff. Autophagy and repair. So autophagy is considered our cellular cleanup process, a cellular recycling or rejuvenation process, and this accelerates So damaged cells and proteins are broken down and recycled. This is also where collagen is created from cleaning up defunct cells. This is where basically we're also cleaning up dead skin, loose skin, extra skin. This is why when people have an element of fasting in their weight loss approach, they don't have like extra saggy baggy, I need cosmetic surgery stuff, because part of the process is actually your body breaking this dead protein down. Inflammation and oxidative stress reduce, which is just great for preventing degeneration, big deal diseases like heart disease and cancer and stroke. Human growth hormone is increased, and fat loss, increasing fat loss and tissue repair. Human growth hormone is considered our fountain of youth. It is great for longevity. It helps with weight loss. It helps with muscle maintenance, growth, retention, testosterone levels. Hi, Marissa. Hi, my dear. Get ready. Not for you yet, but soon. What was I going to say? And tissue repair. But human growth hormone is huge. And basically, in general, when we have insulin low, human growth hormone has the opportunity to be high. So fasting is fabulous for that reason as well. When we're in this 18 to 24 hour range, we're now primarily running on fat and ketones versus sugar. When we go beyond this, 24 to 36 hours, this is for those of us who eat once a day, or when we do things like the boost and learn to do longer fasts, 36 to 48 hours. This is where we're in deep fat burning and regeneration. So insulin remains low, keeping the body in a strong fat burning and repair state. Fasting is like sleeping in the sense that this is when the body heals itself. This is when the body fixes itself and you have more energy. I'll talk about my travel story at the end of this. This is amazing. So fat burners in general feel more calm. When I got into this mode, I felt more calm and more confident. And that's kind of like across the board. One thing that happens in this 24 to 36 hour range of fasting is our autonomic nervous system. This is our, what do I want to say? Really, it's like our brain and our spine, our spinal cord, shifts toward more calmness and clarity. Also in this range, stem cell activity starts to increase, aiding in tissue regeneration. One thing I love about this shit, and what I love about what we do in Fat Burning Pro, is like, it's not, it's like superhuman. It's like not on the table. It's like you can increase stem cell repair, like activity, like that sounds amazing, right? Like this isn't sports medicine. We're not paying thousands of dollars for this particular thing because our body can do it. We can do it. This is where we decrease bloating, we have clearer skin, and generally our waistline just like shrinks a bit due to less inflammation and glycogen stores. And then when we get to the 36 to 48 hour range, again, this is like what we do in our boost with, there's a time and some structure and regularity with it. This is when ketone levels are freaking high. This improves brain function, energy, and focus. This is where insulin sensitivity improves dramatically, priming our metabolism for better fat use and glucose control after the fast. So this is something where it's like, I'm doing this today, I'm getting all these benefits today, and I'm actually creating more benefits for the future. That's amazing as well in terms of an investment of your time and energy. Deep autophagy, which supports long-term health and aging defense. And once again, if you care about vanity, autophagy helps with collagen building and it helps with tissue digesting. So less loose skin. And I will just also say, fasting will make you look younger. I'll talk about slowing aging in a moment, but that's another kind of like get out of jail free card. that's pretty unexpected and like takes no anything besides doing nothing, doing less, having more. Once again, this increases our sense of calmness, focus, and emotional clarity, reflecting both hormonal balance and brain chemistry shifts. Fasting, it's not about deprivation, it's about activation, really. And so just to like go through these hours, when we get to the hour 12, we go from storing to burning. Hour 16, we're really producing ketones, burning fat. Hour 24, we're cleaning and repairing at a cellular level. And when we get to this 36 to 48 hours, this is like high octane shit, enhanced hormone and cellular reset. I also just wanted to talk about visceral fat, brain health, a little bit about cellular repair, and then gut and immune benefits. And so visceral fat has been something that some fat burners have been talking about. And so I've been doing a little more research about it, and it's like, it seems like the main way to deal with it, honestly, is having an element of fasting in terms of your lifestyle or approach to weight loss. So the big thing, so subcutaneous fat is like as I fall off this chair, is like the fat that we can pinch. It's the fat that's like under our skin that jiggles, that we can see. Visceral fat is in our abdominal cavity, and if we have a lot of it, it tends to make our belly kind of stick out and be hard. Visceral fat is inflammatory. Subcutaneous fat is not. Visceral fat releases inflammatory chemicals that raise insulin, blood pressure, and prime us for heart disease. When we get to the 18 to 24 hour duration, this is when we start to mobilize visceral fat. Intermittent fasting, what we do in Fat Burning Pro, and extended fasting, which some of us do in Fat Burning Pro, decrease visceral fat by up to like 10 to 20% over a few weeks due to this element of insulin sensitivity. But anyway, fasting is one of the most effective strategies for metabolic disease reversal, improving cholesterol levels, the amount of fat in our liver, and regulating blood sugar. But anyway, visceral fat is impacted greatly by fasting. I also just wanted to share, fasting affects every system of the body, including brain health and Alzheimer's. And the reason why this is impacted is because of autophagy, so that cellular regeneration process. At hours 20 to 36, autophagy ramps up. The body begins clearing misfolded proteins and amyloid plaques, the sticky buildups linked to Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative diseases. So if this is just a part of your lifestyle, and even if vanity is the thing that is getting you to do it, like me, just know that it has all of these like preventative and life-enhancing ramifications. Ketones produced during fasting are a cleaner fuel than glucose. This generates fewer free radicals and decreases inflammation and increases brain-derived neurotropic factor, this BDNF. This is a compound that supports neuron growth, repair, and communication. So ketones help with the generation of that compound that supports neuron growth, repair, and communication. Fasting is kind of like a brain detox and upgrade. It removes clutter, enhances, what do I want to say? My like chicken scratching here. I took these notes while I was walking on a walking pad. Fewer something supports long-term cognitive resilience. That's the moral of that story. And then I'll just say, regarding gut health, I can speak to this personally. So I've always had, I'll say, like a sensitive digestive system. I'm like the canary in the coal mine. Like if the food is going to cause a little bit of an assault on our gut, If you feed it to me, like, it will be a clear yes or a no. So for the longest time, so I had leaky gut at one point many years ago. I'm like, this might have been before fat burning. I don't really remember, but it was either at the beginning of it or before it. But anyway, I was super sensitive to dairy. So for the longest time, I could not eat yogurt, cottage cheese, milk, cream, half and half. All of that would just like kind of instantly give me like pain in my belly, gas, discomfort. And from boosting, from doing our boost, from doing these slightly longer fasts with some regularity, my gut functions differently. Like now I can eat dairy. And so basically it's like it fixes us, it heals us. And again, not a doctor, not a scientist, but this is the shit that goes on when we give ourselves a little bit of a break from food deliberately. Fasting rebalances the gut microbiome. It strengthens the intestinal lining. Extended fasts, 24 to 48 hours, promotes intestinal stem cell regeneration once again and renewal. And then fasting impacts immune strength, mood stability once again, and inflammation control. So the distinction that I wanted to make from the start was that time restricted eating. So if you know that, if you have an appreciation that fasting, not going without food, that might be useful for weight loss. This is typically why anyone does anything, is because they're going to look better, which I am a fan of. So a lot of people will just go to this time restricted eating. I'll just eat between, 12 and 6. Amazing. Great place to start. But when you get more conditioned, when you go through a mitochondrial reconstruction, where you get configured, you go through a process that takes you to another place of ability. So it's not just, when people talk about fasting and how hard it is, or even how hard it is to, eat for less time during the day and they're hungry. And I'm thinking, why aren't you eating? Or how are you hungry and doing intermittent fasting? Like, you should not be hungry and then you don't eat versus being hungry and not eating. That doesn't make any sense to me. So what we do is we get you not hungry and then we don't eat. And then we can keep extending this time the better you get at using your own body for fuel, your own fat for fuel, enabling the benefits of what comes with these durations. So at any rate, so having an appreciation for what fasting can do, however long or shorter that is amazing. That's so smart. That is a smart move. That is working smarter and not harder. Not giving yourself teeny tiny bird meals throughout the day and then doing sprints on a treadmill. That sounds awful. I'm like, it's just going to increase hunger or slow your metabolism. But if you have an appreciation for the benefit of what fasting can do for weight loss, that is smart. Then, next step, you really want to get your body capable of doing intermittent fasting, which essentially means both changing how you're doing it, depending on the day or season, or based on what you want, and then having the ability to go for longer stretches. Because the deal is, longer stretches do more things. And so not only does it speed up weight loss, but it has all of these crazy health benefits, beautification impacts, skin, saggy skin reduction, collagen creation, stem cell generation or regeneration, like changing how your gut works. It's amazing. So anyway, the best type of fasting for weight loss and health is intermittent fasting, which can be shorter during the day 24 hours easily, most days, for most of us that eat once a day. 36, 48 hours. A lot of us have done, 52 was my longest. And we have some boosters that have done longer than that. But anyway, when you can do that, you get to have this massive range of the dial that you're adjusting. And whether that is just to speed up weight loss or to have all this other shit go along for the ride, which is pretty fantastic. Whether that's changing what's happening or helping to prevent what you don't want to come to be. All right. So I think that's all I wanted to say. And maybe I just to keep talking. Maybe this is my point. Additionally, so even on a smaller scale, when this is so, when people talk about fasting being hard, I think like, what are you even talking about? And why would you do it? Like if it was hard. And if you do it when it's hard, that sounds like kind of a deterrent. That sounds like you might not want to do it again, or that might make you not want to do that with frequency. And the deal is, if you do it with some regularity, you get to have these benefits. It's not like a one and done situation. So to make it sustainable, to make it be able to happen with regularity, it's got to be comfortable. And that, once again, has to do with like metabolic positioning. So it's a deeper dive to get there, which is what we do with our mitochondrial reconstruction and Fat Burning Pro. But then once you've got it, you've got it. And then you can play with it. Then you can experiment. Then you can, get guided to do longer things and receive more benefits. So anyway, so I just wanted to talk about that. What was I going to say? And maybe like fasting. The other last thing I just wanted to say about like how I approach this, how I lead people in this, is that we do it when it is easy and obvious. I just fasted all yesterday into today because it was easy and obvious. I ate like an asshole on Sunday, and it was like, you know what? Like, this was a lot of food. Like, this wasn't my carb feast. I did not need this. Like, and so it was just like, I will eat on Monday if and when I am hungry. And it was just like, I'm not. So I'm not, because there are all these benefits. I fasted, I think I said, for like 42 hours, easily, comfortably, no problem. Is that every day? No. Nope. But it's possible. And then we have strategy when we do this in our boost. And so it's just such a great skill to have, an ability to possess. So anyway, there's that. And then maybe the last thing I just wanted to say, I talked about this in another talk that we had here about my vacation salvation, which was fat burning, to like, have Mai Tais and eat late and eat multiple times in a day, and have like cookies as snacks, which I never do this shit. And it was just like, it's just no big deal. But the thing that I wanted to say about fasting particularly is that I did longer fasts on my travel days. So I fasted for 36 hours, I think, on the way there and on the way back. And I did it because it was convenient. I did it because I wasn't hungry. I did it because I didn't really want to eat airplane food, and I didn't want to eat multiple times, and I didn't want to have to figure food out. So it was like, I'm just going to fast. And it was what I forgot about it. So it made my life easier. But what was so great about it that I forgot was that it gave me so much energy. And so when you're burning ketones, you have so much energy. Like, I can't fall asleep energy. So it was amazing on the way out for me as I'm just flying into the sun, this day that never ends. And then finally, when I landed and I had dinner with my girlfriend, and like we had the, wind down of our night, and then I went to sleep like perfectly, up with her the next day, didn't skip a beat. On the way home, I'm flying into the night. So I had a red eye, And there was a point in the night where I was like, okay, I'm going to try to sleep now. It's like I have a 4-hour window between now and when we land. Like, I'm going to try and sleep. And I couldn't. It's the middle of the night. And I had so much energy. It was ridiculous. So then, I hope this is interesting. So I went from Kahului in Maui to Honolulu in Oahu to Atlanta, Georgia. So Honolulu to Atlanta, I'm like 36 hours. I have a 4-hour layover. I am like I've been up for however long, and it's like, I'm ready to eat something. I'm not going to wait, because I had a full day that day coming home. So I'm like, I'm just going to eat now when I have the time. So I ate all this ridiculous airport food, which I thoroughly loved. Sandwiches and chips and baked goods. And then on the last leg, Atlanta to Providence, I slept for an hour. And it was like passing out, bobbing head, waking myself up. I'm so glad I ate when I did. I'm so glad I slept sound like the dead for an hour. And then I did my whole day. So I had 1 hour of sleep for 2 days. And I functioned. I saw clients. And then at 9 o'clock at night, I died. And I slept for 13 hours. But my statement here is that I forgot, there are just so many crazy benefits. And again, it's I love food, I love to eat, but this is such a useful strategy. And it's so useful when it's easy and obvious. And so with travel, it was just this is going to make my life so much simpler. And then it gave me all this energy, which I kind of forgot about, which was amazing. That's it. I hope this was really useful. I hope this might be eye-opening and hopeful. But if doing, so again, we are talking to a certain person here. If you're aware that an element of fasting is useful, at the very least for weight loss, and you're doing some sort of time-restricted eating, and you're having modest results, you find yourself still hungry, that you crave things, that your weight loss is not just, running down the pike, and that you'd like to have more of these other health benefits. Hi, Paula. Hi, my dear. I would totally encourage you to consider going through a mitochondrial reconstruction and getting your body set up to do such things, because it is freeing and ultimately life-enhancing and life-changing. Okay? That's it. I hope that was useful. This will be recorded. Paula, should you wish to watch this from the start, but there's so many hardcore markers that I think you'll be really interested to hear. All right, so that's it. I hope this was amazing. Please be in touch for any reason. If you're a woman over 40 that wants to lose 8 to 15 pounds in a month by going through a mitochondrial reconstruction, which literally changes how your cells work, changes how the energy producing unit of your cell works, in order to make using your own body fat for fuel easy and obvious. And when that happens, we have less hunger, no cravings, more energy, slowed aging. Every time we eat, we tell our cells to divide, and there are only so many cell divisions that they have the ability to perform. When we eat less often, we slow that process. That's just a one and done thing. And then we have all this other benefits with stuff like autophagy and more. This makes weight loss easier. This makes weight loss gain harder. And I think that was something at the 24 to 36 hour mark, we're making blood sugar regulation improved for the future by one act. So anyway, Should you wish to shift away from working hard and not losing, please think about getting your body set up to work on your behalf, to literally work smarter and not harder, making weight loss easier and health improved. Okay, that's it. I hope this was amazing. Please be in touch for any reason. If you want to check out our sugar quiz and see where you fall in terms of what fuel you're predominantly burning, I'll put that link in the comments. Be in touch for any reason. Happy to answer any questions. Hope this was useful. Thank you for being here. And that is it. Love to all. And until next time.